you think Islam will eventually overtake Christianity here in the United States?
Worldwide, not just United States.
And not violate the religion of Islam by selling and distributing products that are against the religion, because we should love what Allah loves and we should hate what Allah hates. This is what we're here for, and little by little, one by one, we're going to be visiting all of the stores in the neighborhood, particularly the inner city neighborhoods where the religion of Islam is ignored. But
Muslim, right? MashaAllah. You know, as a merchant, you have every legal right to sell whatever you want. But as a Muslim, I have a responsibility to educate the people and let them know that as a Muslim, you shouldn't sell haram. That the alcohol, the pork, the gambling is all against Islam. And so I'm just letting you know ahead of time, in about 30 days, we're going to start doing demonstrations around the city. The Muslims that have businesses with haram in it will let the people know that we have to teach the people the best. The Muslims have the best. So let the owners know you should begin to change the inventory, or we're just going to demonstrate.
Is this how it started in Europe? Because in Texas right now, a Houston imam just gave Muslim-owned businesses 30 days to stop selling pork, alcohol, and lottery tickets, or they have to face some protests. Let me be clear. There is no imam, no pastor, no rabbi that gets to decide what an American business can or cannot sell. This is Texas. This is the United States, and the only law here is the American law. Developers claim that these communities follow Texas law, but if religious leaders are out here threatening boycotts and shutdowns, that's not freedom. That's their little form of control that only spreads and gets worse. And let me tell you something right now. I would rather walk down the streets butt naked than go shopping for a burqa at Target. So Governor Abbott or even Trump needs to nip this in the bud right now, because in America, they should be conforming to our laws, not the other way around. If you don't want to go into a halal place that serves alcohol, then keep it moving to the one that doesn't. Plain and simple.
Breaking news, guys. Governor Greg Abbott banned Sharia law in Texas. He's not banning people from being Muslim. He's banning people from forcing other people to be Muslim. Per usual, you have your liberal left that likes to cry about these kinds of things without actually knowing what this stuff is. Just throw you out some requirements on Sharia law. Dress code. Women don't get a lot of rights. Can't eat pork. You can't gamble or drink. So that's like 99.9% of every liberal that I've ever met in my life. Oh yeah, and premarital sex, that goes out of the window. You're not allowed to do that. So while you do your research, I'm just going to celebrate that I don't have to be under Sharia law. Just throwing that out there.
What's up, America? Texas bans Sharia law. That's fucking awesome news. God bless Texas. So if you don't know, a couple of days ago, there were Sharia law patrols going on in Houston, Texas, where Muslims were going around trying to make sure other Muslims weren't selling certain products that were against Islam. Guy's name was Imam Khan, had a red beard. It was a whole fucking thing. Well, because of the Islamic patrols that were going around Houston, Governor Greg Abbott said, we're banning Sharia law. Kiss the fattest part of my ass. So now religious Sharia law is banned in the state of Texas, and I think that is an absolute wonderful move. I'll say it again from the rooftops, I still believe, like I did a couple of weeks ago, and of course years ago, that Islam is not compatible with Western Christendom or Western society in general. So in my opinion, the quicker we can ban Sharia law, the better the entire nation will be overall. So I urge all states throughout America, even though I know liberal ones won't do it because apparently they've opted for oblivion, but I urge them all to ban Sharia law.
America is currently facing a silent Muslim takeover, and this the mainstream media will not tell you, but that is the truth, and that's how it is. You know, in some states like Texas, they have been forced to pass laws that have banned Sharia laws from being used in that place, Texas, or in the state Texas. But unfortunately, in some places like Minneapolis, unfortunately, or I'm sorry to say that it's over. It has already been taken over by Muslims, or rather by Somalis. But Again, that's not what we're here to talk about in this video. In this video, we'll just be discussing the Muslim takeover that almost happened in Texas. You know, we had Muslims going around protesting, claiming that these people, or the American citizens living in Texas, should be guided by Sharia laws and not the laws of the land or the state laws that have been set aside by the government of Texas. They were protesting against those laws, and they claimed that they want Sharia laws to be used. Now, they claim that people should stop selling things like pork. They claim that lottery tickets should not be sold. They claimed things like alcohol should not be sold at all. And we all know something like alcohol in Texas. I don't think there's any way or any day that the people of Texas will allow alcohol not to be sold. So anyway, I would like to thank the governor of Texas for passing this law, because come to think of it, if at all these people came from third world Islamic countries to come to the US to seek better life opportunities or to seek better lives for themselves, but along the way they carried along their third world behaviors. They carried with them their need to use Sharia laws, and when they come to this first world country, they want the laws governing a third world country to be used in first world countries. People from Somalia are claiming that they want Sharia laws to be used in America. Now, if at all Sharia laws do work, then why don't you use those Sharia laws to govern your countries? Why don't you use Sharia laws to govern Somalia into a better place or into giving you better opportunities? So, as we get into this video, I just want to know what your thoughts concerning all these are. Do you agree with them that Sharia laws should be implemented in America, or would you just agree with me as I say here that Sharia laws should be banned and Americans should be wary of Muslims trying to take over their country? Can you imagine Christians trying to take over a Muslim country, or Christians protesting against Islamic religion in a predominantly Islamic country? Can you picture such a situation? It can't even happen. It can't come close to happening. Why? Simply because Muslims are so conservative of their culture and of their rules, so they can't allow something like that to happen. So before we have that discussion, I'd like to share with you some videos which I came across on the internet, videos that I thought are very insightful and that will shape the way you look at all this that's going on in not just Texas but in America at large. You know, countries like UK are having a Muslim problem, and if we don't be careful, if Americans are not careful, very soon America will be having a Muslim takeover or a similar Muslim problem to that in the UK. So without saying much, let's get into the video, and then thereafter we'll get back here to have a brief discussion.
An issue that so many people, not just in this area, but across the entire state of Texas, have been very concerned about, and that is this Epic City project. What is it? What does it mean? What are the consequences of it? So we wanted to make sure that we passed a law that would fully address those concerns. One of the issues at stake is the freedom of religion. Another issue at stake is what's called the right to contract. The fact is, religious freedom is a central part of the Texas Constitution. But bad actors like Epic and Epic City tried to use religion as a form of segregation. Epic proposed an Islamic-only development just outside of Plano to abide by Sharia law. That is illegal in Texas. It violates our laws and our values, and imposing Sharia violates the Texas Fair Housing Act. Not just Epic, but also any compound like Epic. making sure that these compounds will not be able to be built in the state of Texas. This law prevents them from creating no-go zones. It prevents them from selling or renting land only to people who follow Islam. It prevents them from controlling who a buyer can sell their property to. It requires disputes to be resolved by Texas law and Texas courts, not Sharia law. A related issue that is taking place in Houston, Texas. A comment on recent stories of a Houston area imam who insisted that Muslim-owned businesses must follow Sharia law rather than Texas law. I have what I think is a quote from the imam, and he says, if you live in the neighborhood, you are bound by the rule of the mosques. That is false. It is illegal. No neighborhood in Texas is governed by Sharia law. To be clear, Texas law and Texas courts govern those businesses and those neighborhoods. No ranting imam can change that. The imam that I'm talking about is now under investigation by the Texas Department of Public Safety as well as other law enforcement agencies.
TikTok, let's talk about Epic City in Texas. This recently purchased 402-acre of beautiful land is going to be turned into a city for Muslims. It's a 402-acre housing project near Josephine, about 40 minutes from Dallas. It's a recent plan that's been trying to get pushed through by the East Plano Islamic Center. It's going to have over 1,000 homes, a mosque and school and shops, all designed for Muslim families, but with a loophole to be open for all. And it's been sparking some buzz. Governor Abbott of Texas is worried about Sharia law, but the owners, operators, and developers are just saying it's going to be a neighborhood, not a legal system. Locals are split between a love-hate relationship, but I can tell you it has a lot of Americans worried that it's going to turn into a no-go zone, something that's been happening all over Europe, especially in England. So give me your take, Americans. Do you still want beautiful farmland made for America? Or do you want a neighborhood that may strictly be for Muslims? I can tell you this, in America you can practice your faith, but you gotta follow our laws. So let me know how you feel about this entire situation in the comments.
Well, there you've heard it. I'm glad you've seen it by yourself. And yeah, you've heard a lady there talking about how the victims or refugees from Islamic countries or Islam-dominant countries usually don't run to stable Islam-dominant countries during the time that they do seek refuge. Instead, they usually run into these first world countries which were built under the foundations of Christian laws. Now, why can't a Somali refugee just escape to probably Qatar or the UAE? Why don't they go there? Why don't they go to those Muslim countries or Islam dominant countries that are kind of doing well? Why do they choose first world Christian countries? That's a very good question, and it's a question that I would like you to think about. I'd like you to brainstorm about that question, and if at all you'll get the answer, then please let me know in the comment section and let's have that discussion, because I know it's an uncomfortable conversation and somebody out there may think that I am trying to spread hate or I am trying to brew hate, but I don't think that I'm trying to brew hate. I believe it's through having these uncomfortable conversations that we get to reach an amicable agreement. It's evident that Muslims or the Islamic religion thrives through dominating, and its primary objective or agenda is taking over the world. They do wish for a day where the Islamic religion will be the world's religion. They really want to get anyone they meet or everyone into this Islamic boat. And you'll agree with me that they have an agenda in America. Look at this the elections in Minneapolis. We have Omar Fateh, and he's a Somali candidate or an American of Somali descent. They are acting, or the Somalis back there in Minneapolis are acting in a way suggesting that, or in a manner likely to suggest that they have prioritized Somalia more than they have prioritized America. They have the needs and the wants of Somalia at heart more than they have the needs and wants of America at heart. And funny enough, liberals are supporting this. Liberals are not having any problem with America having a Muslim takeover or Muslims shifting everything. You know, it's not like I maybe have a big problem with them. I just do have a problem with the way they conduct themselves and the way they want to kind of force Sharia laws on everyone. If at all you are in Texas, if at all you are in America, which is predominantly a Christian country, then why don't you just follow the rules that are set to govern that place? If you go to Rome, you are expected to do what the Romans do. Then why don't you just do what the Romans are doing? Why don't you just do what the Americans are doing? You live probably in Iran, then go to America to seek better life or to seek greener pastures. And then when you reach in America, you want the rules that you left back in Iran to be used in America. All in the name that Islam is a peaceful religion. Anyway, I don't think that this should be happening. I don't think that Muslims should be doing this, trying to force their religion on everyone. What happened to freedom of worship or freedom of belonging to any religion that you want? Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Please do tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section, and I'd be really glad to know what your thoughts are. Don't be afraid. Leave a comment. I do read all of my comments and comment to most of them, if not all of them. And yeah, let's have a conversation. I'm inviting you to have a conversation with me, and through having these uncomfortable conversations, I do believe that we get to reach amicable agreements and we get solutions. So yeah, leave a comment. And for all those viewers who do come back to watch my content over and over again, I'd like to thank you so much. All those who have subscribed, thank you so much. And if you've not subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. If at all you like the video, you can give it a thumbs up, you can subscribe, you can support me if you wish by super thanks, or even buying me a coffee through the buy me a coffee link that is in the description box. Otherwise, that having been said, then I'd just like to end the video at this point. Please have a good time, and may the Lord God bless you.